that we were going to have a special guest on the call tonight. And I've been sitting knee to knee with Tom Maurer Sr. now for 8.5 years. And I have literally watched his face when he's come across some remarkable discoveries in science and the research that he does on a daily basis. And I got to tell you, I mean, there's nobody that does more research in this world, in my opinion, than Tom Maurer Sr. and then retains it, which is a little freaky in and of itself. But the fact is that Tom sits there and he thinks about the things that are important to human health, and he thinks about the things that are important for us to have a wonderful life, bottom line, how we can live and enjoy our time. And it was interesting. I was listening to Ray talk to one of our distributors today, and he was talking about his goals that he's going to put together, and it was because of his son and the child on the way. And he's excited about having a chance to be with them, but to be healthy and to be able to run around with a 3-year-old and a new baby and to be a part of that and the energy that comes with it. Well, the fact is that when Tom Maurer Sr. thinks about a product, he's thinking about all ages. He's thinking about the things that we need and the things that are going to be important for the biology of the body. And we're working on so many wonderful things right now in the initiatives of Sisel to help you with that. I mentioned on a leaders call, and I'll mention it again now, I'm just finished up the red line of an agreement that will actually take in tests to test your telomeres and to test your biomarkers, basically the nutritional health of the body. So what can you add to your diet? What can you take away? How about diet and exercise? And how does that work? And get some information back that's specific to laboratory testing. And it's off of a saliva test. And so we've just structured the agreement where we'll actually sell it with out of our catalog. We'll be able to, we're not going to private label here. This product has got him so doggone excited that literally he can't hold back. I mean, this is one nutritionally that every one of us in the office are now saying, because we've heard so many marketing conversations and sales conversations and the science of it and the research and development meetings, that all of us are saying, when can we have this product? So Tom Maurer Sr., I know that you're excited to talk about it tonight and that there are so many things for you to go over. I think that now is the time. Let's release the Kraken and just go with it. So Tom Maurer Sr., our president, our founder, our chief formulation officer, the icon at the helm, Tom Maurer Sr., welcome to the call.
And welcome to all of you that are all over the world listening to this call today. Some of you know what it's about, but what you don't know about it, I'm going to tell you tonight, and it's nothing short of sensational. I talk about a lot of products that I've developed over the years, and I've made some great discoveries, and some of them have generated up to $500 million a year in sales. So they've been marvelous, and for their time, they were just incredible products. Now something has come, just like a meteorite out of nowhere, and hit. And we have the full impact of it, and we're going to shake the very foundations of this world with what we have. Now, many of you remember a movie. It was titled, Something Wicked This Way Cometh. Well, you know what? That's coming for us, and it's called old age. And it's a wicked, cruel thing. Anybody that said the golden years were golden don't know what they're talking about, because they are not. We've lost energy, we gain fat, we lose muscle, our brain functions go down, as well as many other types of functions. We have very low energy, and we are just fading away faster and faster. But I got news for you, folks. Something wonderful this way cometh, and it's the age pill. This pill is the most incredible thing I have ever seen or found in all my career. I've been looking at it for about 1.5 years when I picked up on it actually earlier than then. I started looking at it about 1.5 years, and what really triggered my interest in it is, and this is kind of crazy, but it's the mission to Mars. Now, the United States went to the moon, didn't they? And now the next mission is to go to Mars. But the problem with going to Mars is cosmic radiation. And what they say is anyone that was on a mission long enough to go to Mars would come back, and their health would be severely damaged. They would have accelerated aging. I mean, really accelerated aging, like many, many years. And 100% of them in their lifetime would get cancer. It's because cosmic radiation has no real barriers. It goes right through everything. Flight attendants are, and people that fly a lot are very susceptible to it. In fact, is one flight that was round trip around the United States, or a flight to Japan, or a flight to Australia, or a flight to Europe, gives you enough radiation equal to one chest X-ray. So you can imagine what that is for people that are flying every single day. And I think if we looked into it, we'd find out the cancer rates and many other health rates for people that are in the airline business are significantly higher. I looked at it a number of years ago, and it was. Now, so the quest is, how can cosmic radiation goes right through the spaceship, and if a person is wearing a spacesuit, it goes right through that, and it goes right through the body, out the other side of the spacesuit, out right through the other side of the ship, and you're just being bombarded with little pinholes going all the way through your body. Well, it destroys DNA, it damages the biology, does all of those kinds of things, and they can't figure out how to prevent it. So from a bizarre discovery that was made, they looked at it from the other standpoint. If we can't prevent it, what can we do to stop the effects of it from happening? And so they started working on an ingredient. And it's a terribly expensive one. Cost a tremendous amount of money, and they've been putting a lot of research into it. And then some other companies saw what was happening here, and they got so excited about it. One of them has invested $200 million. Now, these are companies that want to produce it. And I've talked with another company that now is getting some done on laboratory amounts, and they're selling it to celebrities. And he said, I'm getting $500,000 a year from some of these celebrities that are buying it. Well, of course, we don't have that kind of money, do we? But the important thing is, it is truly, if anything ever has been found in this world that's a fountain of youth, it is this product. And I'm going to talk to you about what it does tonight so that you can write this down if you can, and we'll be bringing out other literature and other support things. But you need to understand, first of all, many things we can say about this product you couldn't say about other products, because the FDA regards aging as not a disease. So they say aging is not a disease. Therefore, you can talk about a lot of things to do to prevent, regenerate, all of those kinds of aging, because it's not a disease, and you're not talking about structure function change. And so what this product does is it's a small molecule. It can be ingested, it can be injected, but of course we want to have it ingestible. So we've been working with companies to get this thing produced, and to get it produced in quantity, and it takes a heck of a lot of money to do that. But we put a big expenditure in this to see that it gets done, and we're going to have it available for you at a very reasonable rate. Now, to talk about telomeres, we look at TSX, and when that was out, people say, oh, that's really the fountain of youth. Well, yeah, it sort of is, because it rewinds the telomeres that you lose as you grow older. But what this product does, the age pill has a variety of ingredients in it. And I'll start with some minor ones to start with. When you're all built of cells that are created from stem cells. Every day you lose so many cells, and you produce so many other cells. So aging is when you're producing less cells than you're losing. And so you lose more cells, and you start to go down. You go down about 8 to 10% every 10 years. And it is through all the organs, including the brain, muscle. You see older people who are skin and bones because they've lost 40, 50% of their mass within their body. Well, the important thing to remember is, if that is happening, what is the condition that causes it, and can something be addressed to rectify that? Now, we're going to talk about anti-aging, life extension, age reversal. We've talked about all this before, but now we're going to talk about almost instant youth regeneration. Now, you heard the saying that youth is wasted on the young, and for anyone with many years on them, you understand why. If we only knew then what we know now, what kind of a life would we have led? Well, now we're going to step you back through this portals in time to where you can be young again in a very short period of time. Many of the things that I'm going to tell you are based upon animal studies, but they're doing human trials now that are validating everything that they found so far. Well, they haven't done on everything, but every human study validated what was done in the animal studies. So here's what happens. This formulation is a combination of a number of things. First of all, it has a molecule that goes in and creates, I'm not going to let it all out right now, it creates within the body an ingredient, and this ingredient has enormous power for doing a number of things. First of all, it's small, and it's in every cell in your body right now, and your mitochondria is producing it and using it to metabolize. And catch this point. You've seen children when they're young, and I looked at my daughter the other day, and she and another girl, they're just going somewhere. They're just skipping along, and I thought, wow, that energy. It's because all her mitochondria is on full blast producing lots of this ingredient, which is converted to ATP, which is the energy molecule of the body. But the difference between a child and us is immense as we get older and older and older. It takes a person 60, 70, 80 compared to a 10-year-old child. You have a significant decrease and a colossal decrease in ATP production. But this product goes into the cells themselves, and the first thing that it does is it creates more energy in the mitochondria. But as we get older, our mitochondria, those are the energy engines of the cell in our body, and stem cells produce everything from toenails to hair in your head and every organ and tissue in between, and there's many different types within the body. And because they are a little factory, they take in oxygen and a sugar, it's kind of exploded to get the electrical energy from it, and out of that they get the energy to build structures and life and all of that. But that's all oxidation, and that oxidation rushes you for a plain term. And so as that oxidation is deteriorating you, you're going down, 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 down. And so you get to a certain point, you've lost 25% of your brain volume, you've lost 40, 50% of your muscle mass, your organs. Heart's very vulnerable. You don't have any energy. You can't do much of anything. Cognitive reasoning is poor. Alzheimer's is going to hit everyone. Well, we have some answers for those things right now that are very powerful. But this one, if there is an overall pill that's going to do most everything, with the other products that we have, you can accomplish almost anything, I believe, in the area of human health. There will be some limitations, but this product is extraordinary. So when it goes into the cells, it gets the mitochondria producing lots of STP. But the mitochondria are getting wore out. It's like a car engine that's got 200,000-300,000 miles on it. It doesn't run so good. So what this ingredient does is it goes into the cell, and it's what's called, by a new technology that's available, and it's called epigenetics. And it goes into the genes of the mitochondria within the body, and it absolutely repairs them and regenerates them. And so it's just like having an old motor tuned up till it's just brand new. And that happens quick. In animal studies, in 7 to 10 days, all the cells, the old cells that they had, were regenerated to where old cells were indistinguishable from young cells. You can imagine what that would do for them, and it did work on all our animal studies. They become very energetic. Things like hair and skin and size and muscle strength and endurance and stamina, all of those things were just right off the charts because of this tremendous increase in ATP made possible by this ingredient, this miracle molecule, if you will, that goes into it, and it takes at the DNA level and remodels it. And then, because you can put a lot into the body, it will cause tremendous regeneration within the cells themselves and ATP. All that ATP is then it's going to regenerate the body. And so if we come back full circle, this is why the astronauts, NASA himself is looking at it, because they say if we can't stop all those pinholes that does all that, how about if we can repair it about as fast as it happens, so no harm, no foul. Think about that. That's extraordinary. So NASA is really looking at this because this may be the way they can put a person to Mars and back. But for the rest of us that are left here in this world, what do we want? I have no desire to go to Mars, I can tell you that. But I can tell you a lot of places I'd like to go in life and a lot of things that I'd like to do, and it takes time, and it takes money, and it takes health, and it takes energy. And as you get older, that goes down, down, down. For now, what we can do is we can have a moment in time. Can you imagine this? And this is what the studies are now showing. You can take a person whose cells, and they can look at about the biological age. You can certainly count telomeres. And say a person is 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, or 80 years old. And if the studies in the animal tests, which I think are going to be true in humans, but they haven't been completed yet, we'll do the same. Within 7 to 10 days, all of those old cells in mice were indistinguishable from the young cells in young mice. And not only was that it wasn't just a phenomenon, the mice became younger, 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 younger. And so with the human beings, what research scientists are saying now is within perhaps, they're guesstimating, but perhaps 7 to 10 days, there'll be a significant difference. And in 2 to 3 months, you could be functioning, maybe less than that, maybe 7 or 10 days or 2 weeks or a couple of months, you can be functioning at the level with the biological markers that they can tell your age by at that of a 20-year-old. Now you've got wrinkles and you've got hair loss and many other things like that. But suddenly, within a very short period of time, your biomarkers that were, say, 50 or 60 are now 20. Can you imagine what that's going to do for you? Well, I can tell you in all the studies, it's just nothing short of shocking with it. And along with all that activity, you get a lot of other things that are not just significant. They're not just byproducts; they're significant ones. But can you imagine turning your old cells to young cells and increasing the ATP production? There's some things you can take. Hydrogen, like in our hydrogen water, will increase ATP above coenzyme Q10, which is the holy grail of producing ATP. But those two levels are insignificant in comparison to the massive amount of ATP this product will generate within the mitochondria of your cells. It's right off the charts. And of course, that's one thing we want. Is we want to grow younger. We want to have tremendous amounts of energy and all of those things. Well, along with it comes great consequences. Of course, you have the massive energy, which reflects into rapid restoration of muscle mass in animals and function, and a great increase in levels of activity. They can have much more energy. In fact, it's in the animal studies, they were 2 to 4 times had 2 to 4 times more endurance than the animals that were not on it. Even the young animals, the old animals came back, and with the young animal, they'd put them on treadmill and things like this, and they'd last 2 to 4 times longer than the young animal because of that. Now, there's a lot of other things that has to do too, and I'll just tell you some of them real quick. But boy, does it help with things like glucose intolerance, and for diabetes, this is going to give massive support. We can't say cure, but support like you can't believe. And it gets within the liver and the real dense organs of the body, the brain, the liver, and what it does in the heart. And it has such powerful, such fast regenerating properties, and it makes insulin much, much more effective. In fact, there's a dramatic increase with that. And with all of this metabolic activity, you got to remember, suddenly it's like racing your car engine. Your body is starting to race, and you have a lot of energy. And when that happens, you have a condition to where, in all the studies they've done so far, that there was a lot of weight loss just because of the great increase in energy and energetics and metabolism within all the cells. So that's a lot. It isn't about takes your breath away with it, but it does a lot more than that. They have tests showing it's very effective in preserving nerves and cognitive function in the brain, and even for hearing loss, for helping with hearing loss. And the circadian rhythms, which we have, it really gets out of whack as we get older, and this has put them in the animal studies they've done. It's put them right back to where they were younger and functional again. And so you have, and it has a powerful effect on what they call metagenesis, where you are mutating all of the time. Now, in the last 3 generations, from grandmother to mother to daughter, there's been more genetic mutation than in the last 2,000 years. Researchers saying this may put a stop to that, and so genetic mutation is not going to happen, and that which has could be changed back to where it was. So with all of that, it's activating a wide range of genes, and this is energy at the genetic level. And you know, with our eternity, it activates a SIRT1 gene, and that's a marvelous thing for and its time, and still is a great product for activating the SIRT gene. But there are 6 other SIRT genes that are not activated, and this molecule activates every one of them. And those are the ones that have to do with growth, regeneration, energy, all of that. So think of it this way. Within 7 to 10 days, many or most, in perhaps some cases, all of your cells could be restored at the genetic level by this going through and breaking down all the damage and increasing the repair and the regeneration. And the one thing I didn't tell you, it also increases lots more mitochondria. And what lots more mitochondria do? They only have one purpose. That's increase high levels of energy. So now your biomarkers, wherever you are at life, let's say 40 to 80, if you're within that range, suddenly within just a few weeks or a month or two become 20 again, and your old cells are indistinguishable for young cells. Tell me this is not the fountain of youth. This really is. This is the really big one. So youth is now not going to be wasted on the young. We're going to have all of our resources, all of our abilities, and we're going to be operating with our biomarkers back like we were 20 again, and 20 forevermore. That doesn't mean you're going to become immortal, but what it does mean is your health is going to jump back in ways that will shock you in many people. And with that, energy levels come up, and youthfulness returns, and complexion and skin and hair and eyesight and hearing and brain function and organ function and muscle mass and bone density. All of those things will have massive support because your mitochondria are on full blast, just like you were 10 years ago, 10 years old with that, and you'll be functioning like you were, well, maybe not like 10, but like you were 20 again, now and forevermore. So let me bring it full circle. What is this? This is a product like no other. What company has it? The only ones that are selling are some experimental companies doing some things, but there's a little marketing, but it is so terribly expensive to take a therapeutic dose of it. It costs a lot of money, but we have found a way to get it produced, and as I said at the beginning, we're having that done now. We're working on getting it approved in all the country, so hopefully, it's not a pipe dream, but I hope by this month.
Okay, great. Well, there you have it. Of course, it was approved and it is available. So this is a fantastic product. So if you're listening to the recording and you're thinking about trying this product, I highly, highly recommend it. Absolutely love it. And I love hearing the science again about it and a refresher on it, because it's just such an important product. It has such great ingredients and we get fabulous results with it. So if you're listening to the recording or you're with us live, consider bumping up your dose again. I find that when I go up to about 10 a day, I start to see all the new hair growth really start to sprout quite quickly. Thicker eyelashes and complexion of the skin starts to change. So it's just such a fantastic product. give it a go. Thanks for joining us today. Dr. Curt got held up today, so we'll cover the top 5 next time with him. So thanks for jumping on. Have a great weekend, and we'll catch you next